Service special agent whose father was speaking out against the Bush administration. I mean, no, I have no doubt that this sort of thing has happened.
So is this just harassment then? Because, I mean, it's like in No Way Out when he's walking along and who are these guys? Well, they're formerly associated with Special Forces, and I'm just like a regular guy with a family who has a big talk show, but, I mean, it's getting really creepy.
And that's one of those things that I think that this is why I've spoken out against the use of Blackwater contractors and as some form of mercenary. And this is where there's been a real gray area, Alec, that we have to look at, by the fact that I think that there's some real loopholes that have been used by the military and by the intelligence organizations to hire folks who serve in these roles. It's a very murky gray area. And for example, in Afghanistan, the CIA, up until recently, denied it. I was there to handle 2 of the KIAs from CIA, who were there as Blackwater back in 2003. So this is a loophole that a number of organizations have used to hire people off the street who have military background to do things which I think, if they were shown to be in the light of day, they would be shown to be illegal. And this is where people have tried to get around posse comitatus, of ways of trying to influence the thinking of adversaries. And frankly, some people just don't appreciate people like you and others who speak out. And I think,
but Colonel, now we're learning the adversaries are somebody like you or me who just speak out for the Constitution and Bill of Rights as some type of Darth Vader Praetorian Guard. And I know a lot of JAG officers who are retired, law professors we've had on. They're very, very concerned. You know, Atticott from San Antonio. And others, but I mean, it's just for the general public out there. I don't think they realize that this whole black op or slash contractor, they may be contractors, are just out there really intimidating people, surveilling people. We've only got a few minutes left. I can't wait till August to have you on to really go over the book in detail, and I hope people will order it because I know I'm going to read it, and it's going to be extremely informative, Colonel Shaffer. But in closing, shifting gears out to what happened in Poland, do you think it's suspicious that the almost entire leadership of the Polish government's aircraft went down?
Well, I got it. There's 2 parts to it. First, it's like the old, whenever someone had a cold in Soviet leadership, that was a bad sign. I think, a cold is not a cold and when it comes to the Soviets. And this may be something that people need to look at as well. From what I understand, the Polish president was very independent. And I think that the fact that everybody went down together in these questionable circumstances, you've got to look at that very hard. The Tupolev, which crashed, frankly, had a horrible record. When I flew back from Afghanistan, I flew through Tashkent, and the airline that I was supposed to fly back on flew a lot of those. Fortunately for me, they had pretty much grounded all the Tupolevs, and we're now using Boeing aircraft. So that aircraft by itself has had a hugely poor safety record.
But it is stupid to put that much leadership in one aircraft.
Well, you never do it. I mean, I think that's a mistake that you just shouldn't make. That's an amateur mistake, Alex. You should never make that mistake, especially when you have basically the entire military general staff, pretty much every major officer within the government and the civilian side. You got to ask yourself, why would they do that, especially with an aircraft, as I mentioned, with that kind of poor safety record.
Colonel, we've only got 1 minute left. You wanted to make a comment on the bombing in Ireland. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's frankly, from what I've seen from being here just a little bit of time, there's still a great deal of dissension within Northern Ireland. I think there's some chaos there. I think that as things settle in, you're going to see a few things like this. But I think the good news is, if there's any good news, is the fact that I think things have been reduced. You don't have these mass bombings. If nothing else, there was no casualties in this. I think it was meant to send a message. So at least here, I believe that I think they're on a downhill run of terrorism being an effective tool. I'm hoping that people understand that that things here are pretty much settled, I think, but in other places they're not. And I think that anytime we look at terrorism, we have to look realistically at long-term threats. Another thing that I'd like to bring up briefly, we can talk about another time, is Al-Qaeda. President Obama made a statement which I think is very accurate about
Hold on, Colonel, hold on. Let me at least say bye to you.
The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond Gusset Jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond Gusset Jeans got it. Others don't.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
What's your home worth? How can you compare local real estate agents? And how do you get MLS listings for the entire country?
If you're thinking of buying a home to take advantage of a tax credit or selling your house, you first need to see an incredible website called HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com will help you find a realtor to buy or sell a home. It's so easy, and best of all, it's free. At HomeGain.com, you can compare realtors anonymously, receive customized proposals, see consumer reviews, then select the best realtor for you. Go to HomeGain.com and get an instant home value estimate, view comparable homes, and check out street views. HomeGain.com has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and contains a wealth of information, like their home improvement tool that helps you determine which home improvements to make to increase your home's value. See the top 12 home improvements right now at HomeGain.com. That's HomeGain.com. Look for Max, the orange HomeGain Gorilla, to help you find a realtor or with any other real estate needs you might have at HomeGain.com, your real estate connection.
Colonel Tony Shaffer has been really nice giving us this time. He's on vacation in Ireland. We're going to let him go here in just a few minutes, but putting bookends on this. Get into your al-Qaeda point, but what is al-Qaeda? We know it's this Brzezinski computer file at the CIA in 1979. We know it's a term used to try to simplistically label, I guess, Wahhabist sects out of Saudi Arabia. We know those do exist. We know there's different factions in Saudi Arabian princedom where you've got different princes fighting with each other. So we know there's a lot of different groups and organizations, but it just came out last week in federal documents that one of the ringleaders of the Mumbai attack was a, quote, U.S. government agent and helped lead the attack. And so I keep going back to that over and over again. I mean, what is al-Qaeda today?
Well, I think we have to look at this realistically, because if the intelligence community is doing its job, Alex, they're going to have people who will hopefully will have access to the organization. The problem is, and this was happened with Cap Chapman. I think a lot of the CIA's activities lately have been focused on wishful thinking. I think they recruit people thinking they're going to work for the U.S., and they're true believers. There's really no level of benefit you can give them to make them walk away from what they believe. So I think that's what we're seeing here.
You're saying double and triple agents.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what we're seeing here, where I think it's almost a policy of wishful thinking, hoping these guys will really come over and support us. And then they get triple-crossed back, essentially. Peter Lance did a great book on this, it's called Triple Cross, where it talks about Ali Muhammad. That very thing happened there, where the guy was doubled and tripled back against us. And I think that's what we're seeing here a lot of. And we're not being smart as we should to detect when they've been doubled back.
We're running short on time. A few months ago, that CIA base in Central Asia getting blown up, was that a double cross?
Oh, triple cross, absolutely. That guy never left his true belief in al-Qaeda, and that's why those people died.
So what is al-Qaeda?
Well, I think al-Qaeda it's essentially a franchise of terrorism that the radicals within the Muslim community have been able to use to sustain themselves and try and tie together. I think, for example, Al-Awlaki is really the primary the operational leader right now. He's the one who's actually able to plan things. So I think that he is realistically kind of the lead guy right now in Al-Qaeda. I think that's why the focus is so heavy on him. He's been able to pick up his franchise and do a lot with it.
What about Obama saying he's worried about Al-Qaeda getting nukes? I mean, that sounds as ridiculous as saying Saddam Hussein had nukes.
Well, I can tell you that